Hey everyone! So today's movie I'm discussing on the channel is the latest in the Final Destination franchise called Final Destination Bloodlines, which is directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein. This is actually the first Final Destination film that we've got in 11 years. God, has it really been that long? Like, I've never even reviewed a Final Destination movie on my channel, even though I do have a real soft spot, guilty pleasure love for these films. Like, yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just one sick puppy who loves watching people die in overly elaborate and excessively grotesque ways. You know, I don't know. I get my jollies from watching these movies in a really twisted way. And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching do as well. The Final Destination franchise really falls into that subgenre of horror movies which came during the turn of the century, where we started seeing the kills in horror movies getting a lot more creative. It's sort of spawned franchises like the Saw movies, which I know is a bit more torture porny, but also there's like the escape room movies as well, which are also kind of similar. And people just get a weird thrill from watching people die in like really nasty ways. I know I do. Like, this is a film that actually had me actively rooting for an annoying little kid to die, okay? How messed up is that? Yeah, I need therapy. But yeah, I'm gonna hold my hands up and say that I love the Final Destination movies, and I was quite excited to see a new one after, waiting more than a decade. But the question is this new Final Destination movie any good? And I saw this last week, and I was surprised by just how good this movie was, okay? I thought I'd have fun with it, but I wasn't actually prepared to feel actually a little bit emotionally moved by this film, which I know sounds strange because the only emotion typically you usually feel in a Final Destination movie is disgust. But yeah, in this one, I actually felt some feelings, and yeah, that was something I was not expecting. This one feels way more personal because this time in the movie, the setup is that death is coming after an entire family. This family called the Reyes. And yeah, because it's coming after family members, it just makes all the deaths feel that much more intimate and personal. Like, there's one scene where the lead character, Stephanie Reyes, she's the lead girl, she's the one that has this sort of premonition, kinda, I'll explain in a second. But yeah, she witnesses one of her family members die in this horrible, gruesome way, like literally right in front of her. Their head pops like a grape in front of her. And the directors in this are having so much fun, you can tell, because when she's screaming out in anguish, the scene then immediately smash cuts to a kettle on a hob, screeching, woo! And it's just such a cruel, crash cut, okay? You can tell the directors are reveling in this, amping up the gore and the grossness and, yeah, the brutality of the kills, and then throwing in some really dark comedy like that at the end. So in that sense, there is another layer of emotion that comes with the deaths in this film because, yeah, it's family members watching each other die, but really, this film's unique X factor of what makes it the most emotionally effective Final Destination film in the franchise is that it's actually the swan song movie of legendary character actor Tony Todd, who has been the staple character throughout this whole franchise. He's not been in every film, but he's been in most of them as the mortician William John Bloodworth. Tony Todd passed away just last year. This was his final ever film performance, and there's this sort of weird, bittersweet irony knowing that this was his final ever performance, in a franchise that is, all about death and that being the end. But weirdly, I don't know if the writers knew if he was sick or something, but it almost felt like they knew he wasn't going to be able to make the next film. And yeah, Tony Todd gets this lovely, sort of sentimental speech about making the most out of what time you've got left because life is precious. None of us knows how much time we've got. That's why this film kind of got me. It was sort of like a sneaky emotional side punch. I didn't expect to feel moved, but his final scene where he imparts this sage wisdom to the survivors of the premonition about appreciating life for as long as they can, it got to me. They did the thing. It was such a lovely send-off for Tony Todd. There was actual applause in my screening when people watched this, as a mark of respect to the great actor that he was. So yeah, I wasn't actually expecting to feel ooey gooey watching this film, but yeah, there were moments where it cut deeper than I expected it to. So yeah, there was a surprising amount of emotion, but also because this franchise has been around now for 25 years. Can you believe the first film came out in the year 2000? But yes, the franchise has been around for 25 years, okay? This is the 6th film in the franchise, and the directors, Lipovsky and Stein, are very aware of what the audience expects going into a Final Destination movie. And you can tell that these directors are such big fans of the franchise themselves. Like there's lots of little nods and references to previous Final Destination movies. Like there's like logs on trucks. There's musical references to like Ring of Fire. Character name drops as well. Like Clear Rivers is mentioned at one point. So yeah, they're clearly fans of what came before. And they are clearly reveling in playing with the audience's expectations, because there's so many little bits in this movie where you think you know where they're going to go with it because, we've done this dance before, but they completely subvert your expectations and do something completely different, okay? Like, we're familiar with the lore. The fans are familiar with the lore of Final Destination and the rules and, Death's design and how it all works. But yeah, there's a few things in here, I'm not going to spoil it for you, which just completely shake up the formula. And it just makes it so much more entertaining and tongue-in-cheek that the directors are sort of like winking and teasing us from behind the camera, thinking, oh, you think you know what's coming, but no, we're gonna take it a different direction. And I love that. They were doing their own thing, but it still felt like a Final Destination film, but they've just, rejigged it up a little bit. They added a little spice and some unexpected flavors that, I didn't see coming. So yeah, there's some surprises in here. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you guessing. Yeah, even the opening of this film kind of plays with the audience's expectations in a delightfully refreshing way, because we all know the formula of these movies. Okay, they all start pretty similar. Okay, there's an accident at the beginning of the film. The main character in the film has a premonition of this accident occurring. They panic. They manage to get a few survivors away from it. The events unfold. They think they survived, but then death starts coming back to them, killing off one by one. In this, it's a little different because while the movie is set in modern times, the premonition actually takes place 50 years in the past. It's like 1975, and it's this collapse of this, like, I don't know if it was a rotating restaurant, but it was a restaurant building. It kind of looks like a flying saucer on top of a very stick building, and yeah, you get panoramic views of the city. And yeah, this couple, the main character that we think is Iris. She's a young woman. She's pregnant. She's about to get engaged, and then she has the premonition. But when she snaps out of the premonition, it's not her who's snapping out the premonition, it's actually her granddaughter, Stephanie, 50 years later, and she's having this recurring nightmare. It's what kicks things in motion, because she's having this recurring nightmare, which is really the premonition coming into her sleep at night. So yeah, it is doing something different. Nobody really watches these Final Destination movies for like masterclass acting. For what the performances were, they were pretty good. The lead girl who plays Stephanie, Caitlin Santajuano, she was really good, and so were all her family members. Like, everyone did a pretty good job in this. I'd have to say my favorite performance in this was probably Richard Harmon, who plays Stephanie's cousin Eric. Yeah, there was a surprising amount of layers to his character, and yeah, he brings a lot of the laughs to the film as well. So yeah, he was probably my favorite, I'd say. Do I have any negatives? A couple. Like, I did think some of the visual effects looked a bit green screeny or blue screeny in places, particularly like with the opening set piece of the restaurant building falling down. Like, you could just sort of tell, like, okay, this is clearly computer graphics, but it is what it is. And my other criticism is just something that just felt really dumb to me. But, these movies are unashamedly trashy and unapologetically silly, so you can't take them too seriously. But towards the climax of the film, the last few survivors feel like, oh, we gotta go somewhere where we're gonna have a chance, to beat death. And the location that they go to, like, literally couldn't be the worst place to pick. I don't know, it's just a place full of, like, wires sparking, spikes everywhere, like, clearly hazards, like 360 degrees around them. And they thought, yeah, this is the place where we'll have the best chance to survive death. I don't know, it just felt like ridiculously stupid. So yeah, that was dumb, but you kind of expect these movies to be a little dumb, okay? We don't go in expecting, eloquent dialogue and, powerhouse performances, okay? We're there for the carnage. We're there to see the creative kills and, yeah, all the blood splattery goodness. And the film did that, okay? It was suspenseful. It was exciting. It was, a lot of fun. So, yeah, I had a great time with it. Shall we ask them 3 questions? Firstly, would I watch it again? Happily so. I will definitely be adding a copy of Final Destination Bloodlines, adding it to the collection at some point, yeah. Good fun. It's like a movie you want to watch with mates, like you have over for a movie night, because it's just one of those films that you can all like react to, go shriek and scream and laugh at together. Like, it's so visceral and over the top. Like, you'll just have so much fun watching it as a group. So yeah, I would have to watch this again. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? I mean, if you're a fan of the Final Destination franchise, okay, go watch it. You're gonna have a blast. It's right up your alley. For anyone who doesn't like, you know, excessive violence and blood, disturbing death sequences, then maybe don't go see this one. It's not for you. It's just, you know what you're getting yourself into if you go watch this movie. So yeah, I recommend it for those that want to see it. It's a really fun time at the cinema. So yeah, I do recommend it for those that want to watch it. And third question, what score to give out of 10? Again, I have a few little gripes of it, but I was still like ridiculously entertained watching this movie. Like, there were just so many times I turned to Glenn in the cinema and just like, wow. You know, we were kind of living. We had a real joyride watching this movie. So I'm gonna give Final Destination Bloodlines a score of 8 out of 10. And I actually think it might be my favorite in the Final Destination franchise, but I guess that's the question I should be asking you guys today. Have you seen Bloodlines? What do you make of it? And also, what is your favorite Final Destination movie? Yeah, and if you want to get even more detail, let me know what your favorite death is from a Final Destination movie. Put them all in the comment section down below. Love hearing from you guys. Stay tuned for all my Cannes coverage that's coming on the channel over the next few weeks. And thanks so much for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, make sure to click that subscribe button and also the like button. It's really good for the algorithm. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Carefield, and I'll see you next time.